Lawmakers in South Korea have finally approved the national budget for next year. The approval outlines key allocations and priorities for the next year's fiscal year. For more on this, we have our National Assembly correspondent Lee Shi-hoo joining me in the studio. Welcome, Shi-hoo.
Hi, Ye-eun.
All right, Shi-hoo, let me ask you the first question. What exactly is the national budget for the 2024 fiscal year?
Right, so the national budget is at 656.6 trillion Korean won, around $503.3 billion US dollars, and this is a decrease of around $230 million from the government's initial proposal submitted back in September. It passed with 237 votes to 9 with 13 abstentions. Now, this marks the second consecutive year where the government proposed budget has been reduced during the parliamentary review process. Compared to last year, the total budget increased by 2.8%.
I see, but it took quite some time for the National Assembly to approve this budget. Why is that so?
Right, so there were extensive deliberations leading up to the approval that passed 19 days past its legal deadline of December 2nd. This is because the ruling and opposition parties couldn't agree on the specifics of the budget. For example, the ruling People Power Party, with its goals of making the government more financially sound, wanted to cut the R&D budgets, while the main opposition Democratic Party called for a drastic increase. The DP called for an increase in other areas, including the budget related to the Saemangeum title flat in Jeollabuk-do province, while the PPP was against it. This is as the ruling party thought the province should be held accountable for shortcomings experienced during its hosting of the World Scout Jamboree in August.
Then what happened to those budgets? In which areas did we see an increase?
So compared to the initial proposal, the Assembly actually increased the budget for R&D by 600 billion Korean won, or around 462 million US dollars. The budget can be used for supporting next-generation technologies and for equipping labs with high-tech infrastructure. The budget for development around the Saemangeum title flat also increased by 300 billion Korean won, around 231 million US dollars. A substantial amount has also been allocated to help those in need. For example, for temporary rent support for young people, as well as energy bill support for small business owners. The National Assembly also increased the budget for increasing the number of carriages for certain subway lines to help improve people's daily commute. In defense, 242 billion Korean won, or around 187 million US dollars, has been set aside to build fighter aircraft such as the KF-21.
Then which areas did we see a decrease in?
Well, the reserve fund for the finance ministry was cut by around $600 million, and the budget for the overseas official development assistance was cut by around $150 million. The budget for building next-generation fighter jets was cut by around $175 million. Now, Chu Kyung-ho, the deputy prime minister and also the minister of finance, said that the country needs to invest in its people and prepare for the future. Listen in.
No matter how difficult the financial situation, we cannot neglect to invest in what the state has to do, such as protecting the weak, preparing for the future, and public safety. The necessary funds were procured by restructuring fiscal expenditures, not through an easy means such as increasing the national debt.
And this is the first budget approval for the Yoon Suk-yeol administration, so I'm curious as to how the presidential office reacted.
Well, President Yoon Suk-yeol himself has called for a swift approval of the budget and for it to be approved in the parliament's extraordinary session in December. Following the approval, a presidential office spokesperson at a briefing welcomed the passing.
Although it's late, I think it is fortunate that the budget bill passed the National Assembly under the agreement of the ruling and opposition parties. Next year's budget plan maintained a sound fiscal stance in compliance with the principle of increase within reduction during the National Assembly deliberation process. It's greatly increased the livelihood economy and support projects for the vulnerable, including small business owners, farmers, young people, and the disabled.
The top office vowed that the government will make every effort so that the budget can be executed from the beginning of the year.
All right, so we'll have to keep a close eye on whether everything goes as planned. Thanks so much for the update, Shi-hoo.
Thank you.